any of the spoilers in this video, be sure to order them from today's sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com. It helps out the channel a lot. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jeff and today we're going to have some fun diving into the new Ravnica Allegiance spoilers, and we have some super awesome ones to talk about today that I'm super excited about. We also have some other ones that we have about 5 or 6 that came out without the translations. I decided to go ahead and push those out to the next video with the full translations just to make sure I get the names correct on these ones, because I've seen a lot of different names running around on the internet. So those ones are going to be pushed off, but there are some more if you guys want to check it out. I'll try to have the link in the description below. And if you guys do want to see more of this type of video, please subscribe to my channel so that they pop up on your browser as soon as you get onto YouTube. Put the notification bell if you want to. That also makes it notify you. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the cards here. All right, and these are in no particular order. I'm just going to start off with our first one here, Smothering Tithe. So Smothering Tithe is a 4 converted mana cost enchantment, 3 and a white. It says whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If that player doesn't, you create a colorless treasure artifact token that can sacrifice for any color mana. I like this card a lot. First off, it is, I think, a really broken card in Commander. Just being able to ramp up like that, especially if you're playing against, a bigger group, like it's a really fun card in Commander. I'm not sure if it's competitive, but a really fun card. Otherwise, in Standard, I still think it has a lot of value, especially if you're playing like the blue-white artifact deck that actually seem to get a little bit better and better. It helps with the constructs. It helps with any artifact strategy if you have it. Maybe just Esper tokens in general could be really good, actually. So I'm excited for this card, especially with Revel in Riches. So Revel in Riches, I think, will make this card... it actually might have a possible way to play a control-y type of deck that still can get the Revel in Riches combo off. That's my hope. We're going to try it out at least. And so this card looks really fun. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Next up, we have Gutter Bones, 1 black mana, Skeleton 2/1, Skeleton Warrior, and it enters the battlefield tapped. So we've seen cards like this before. Pretty good. We know the stats. 2/1 enters tapped, still decent on for 1 mana. And then it has an ability, 1 and a black, return Gutter Bones from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only during your turn and only if an opponent lost life this turn. I'm in between with this card. I think that it is definitely valuable. It'll see play in the... I think it will see play in the Ravnica aggro deck. Or sorry, the Rakdos aggro deck. But at the same time, I'm not sure if it's better than just going towards like a Jund aggro or something like that, because there's a lot of good stuff for that as well. And so I'm interested to see if this sees play. It does make our Death Baron a little bit stronger as well, having another skeleton out there that is pretty good and aggressive. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see. Okay, we have Basilica Bellhaunt, another one of those 2 white, 2 black Orzhov creatures, and it's a spirit. We have more spirits in the deck for our spirit deck. And when this guy enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and you gain 3 life. I think that's pretty good. I think that's definitely good with with its body 3/4, not too shabby. It causes a good trigger to happen, and it's good for the colors that it's in. Again, with all of these cards that are the 2 white, the 2 black. Or for each of the guilds, they're good enough to replace other stuff if you don't have the rares. So I think this is a really good uncommon card to be replacing any of your rares that would be in your 4 or 5 drop slot. So for that case, I really like these cards. I don't think it does, if you have those rares though, you're definitely going to be playing those over this. All right, next up, this card is super exciting. Pitiless Pontiff, white and a black vampire cleric. You pay 1, sacrifice another creature, and then it gains Death Touch and Indestructible until end of turn, or this card does. And we really need a pay 0, like just an instant speed, sacrifice another creature effect to really get the drain deck going here. But at the same time, gaining Death Touch and Indestructible on a 2/2 creature is actually pretty powerful. your sack outlet has resiliency. And so with that, I think that this card does have value. Um, it adds to our cleric deck, which is awesome. Um, and overall, I think this deck will definitely see play. Where exactly, like, I'm hoping that there's some other stuff that is a little bit better that comes up, but I definitely like the card. All right, next up we have Prime Speaker Vanifar, and this one was spoiled by the Command Zone earlier today, and it's a two, a green and a blue, legendary creature, elf, ooze, and a wizard. What the? And it's a 2/4, and you can tap it to sacrifice another creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana costs. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you would cast a sorcery. So on your turn, you can tap this guy to basically upgrade any creature that you have. And I think that's definitely worthwhile. First off, especially with the amount of like death triggers there are right now, I think that that's valuable just in and out of itself. There is an it's not instant speed, but it doesn't cost anything. You can sacrifice another creature, so we do have that. It's in the wrong colors, but we also get another creature out of it at the same time. So I do think that this is valuable. As far as what you want to be doing with it, I'm not sure yet. It does die to lava coil and, a lot of removal, but so does everything else right now. Like really, except for Carnage Tyrant, almost everything dies. And actually, there are some cards coming up here soon that deal with Carnage Tyrant. So I think that this is good. We'll see exactly if it's going to see a lot of play or not in Standard. All right, so I said I wouldn't get into the cards that haven't been translated fully yet, but because I alluded to it earlier, let's go ahead and get into this one really quick. As far as it's been translated on Scryfall, it's Scarecrow and Tinman. Scarecrow being the one and one black or white, you can instant speed exile target card from a graveyard and draw a card. I think that's definitely useful in a lot of the decks right now. This is definitely a decent card, but the reason why you would play this, I think, in your main board is because of the other side, which says Tin Man. So Scarecrow Tin Man. I'm not sure those are the right names, but the translation, it's a two, a white and a black sorcery speed, and it target player sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. Gain life equal to that creature's power. So let me read it again. Target player sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls, and you gain life equal to that creature's power. So this kills Carnage Tyrant. It finally dodges around the hexproof of Carnage Tyrant. If you have a Shalai down, you can't target the player, but you can at least finally get rid of Carnage Tyrant when it's down because you can target the player. It's typically when Carnage Tyrant's down, it's the biggest toughness unless they have a Galta. In that case, Cleansing Nova or bust. But you can at least get rid of a Carnage Tyrant and gain 7 life in the process. So this card is amazing. We'll definitely see play. I'm guessing in some main boards, depending on what meta is like. But I wanted to at least show you this card because I had alluded to it earlier. Next up, we have Pestilence Spirit. 2 and a black. It's a 3/2 spirit with menace and death touch. So if it's going to be blocked, it has to be blocked by 2 things, and you guarantee kill those things unless one of them has first strike. So really, really good. And then it has instant and sorcery spells you control have death touch. So this is interesting because everything that plays spirits doesn't typically, like at least in black, you don't typically have stuff that deals damage all that often. So that is the one side of it where it's like, oh, that's cool. But if you're playing this in the Rakdos deck, then this becomes insane. So I do think that this is going to become a staple in the Rakdos like aggro deck because it's pretty good in that. Just all together. Having a 3/2 with menace, your shocks kill anything. Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's nothing else to say about that. This is going to see play for sure, especially, I'm going to play it in the Rakdos deck. We'll see if it sees play anywhere else. I mean, it's still good stats even by itself without that. Just Menace and Death Touch, you're going to be trading off with 2 things pretty much anytime it's blocked. Yeah, I like it a lot. All right, now we have End Rays Forerunners, and this is 8 converted mana cost, 5 and 3 green. It's a 7/7 boar with Vigilance, Trample, and Haste, so pretty awesome. And when it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. With this card, I actually think it can see play. Um, I'm thinking with just the way that the meta is kind of looking right now, as far as what we're seeing with Ravnica Allegiance, I'm thinking there's going to be some good ramp synergies, maybe in the green-blue type stuff. There's going to be some good ramp here to get up to our bigger creatures. I'm hoping, but this is a game finisher for a Stompy deck. It just gives everything trample and gives it vigilance, so you can actually swing in. I can see it as a one of in most Stompy decks, at least. I think that's how it's going to be see play. Um, Depending on what happens if the Gruul decks become even better, then I don't think they'll see as much play. But I still like the card overall. I think it actually is a valid card. We'll see how well it does. So let me know what you guys think about that one down in the comments below. Next up, a super awesome legendary mythic creature, Rakdos the Showstopper. So this guy's name is Rakdos. That's pretty cool. All right, and it's 6 inverted mana cost, 4 a black and a red. It's flying, trample, 6/6. See a lot of these demons that are all 6/6s. And when it enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp, and destroy that creature and destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. So if they lose the coin flip. Amazing. I love this card. First off, because we're getting more demons for Liliana's contract, which as soon as you have 5 demons with different names, then you then you win the game. And I think we now have enough demons that it's actually possible to be doing that. Before, you kind of had to be doing janky stuff with with other cards, but now you can actually just make that happen. And this is a one-sided board wipe as long as you built your deck around it. I don't think there's a ton of great devils or imps. There's a few, and there might be more coming in that will be good as well. But I like this card. I like it a lot. So let me know what you guys think about this one. Is flipping a coin consistent enough? I mean, of course it's back and forth, but I'm glad that they're bringing more coin flip stuff into the standard format, because I feel like I've seen it a lot in Commander and past ones. But I like that. I kind of want that to at least persist so that it's not unfamiliar to people, especially with MTG Arena now kind of doing it for you. I think it's pretty nice. Anyway, I like this. It's a good card. I think it'll definitely see play. All right, this next card I think is just a little too broken for standard or really any format. I love it though. So Wilderness Reclamation, 3 and a green, and this is uncommon enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. Yeah. At the beginning of your end step, you untap all lands you control. So first off, it is in green, so I know like every control deck is just wanting this so bad, especially with the addendum ability. So I think that this definitely is like the Bant control just makes this so much better. Like the Turbo Fog deck is even more value, like a valid option now, which kind of frustrates me that Nexus of Fate is getting even more, more of a boost. But I do think that it's a cool card. There's some really fun things you can do with it. Even just Growth Spiral itself, having the instant speed, playing extra lands, being able to draw cards, which came down. I think that this is just so good. All right, next up we have another dual card. It's Depose and Deploy. One, a white and a blue, or a blue. Tap target creature, draw a card. Exactly what Control wants to be doing. Amazing card right there, all together. Then the deploy side keeps going along this Thopter theme for the Azorius colors, and I like it a lot actually. It makes me want to play it a little bit more because I'm not just a straight up control player, but I like to be still doing something with creatures and then like tempoing them out is more like the way that I like to play control. So this side it says create 2 1/1 color Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying, and then you gain 1 life for each creature you control. So first off, you're filling up your board, and then if you've been playing the artifacts side of things, you can gain quite a bit of life with this, as well as creating a body, or 2 bodies here. So definitely worthwhile in the Azorius colors. There's so much life gain in that right now that honestly, I think it's a little bit broken. I think it'll be really difficult to beat out. There are decks that definitely take care of it. There's a lot of board wipes in the format right now, but I do really like this card. I think it'll definitely see play. Next up, we have Growth Chamber Guardian. It's a 2/2 for 2 Elf Crab Warrior. It has adapt 2, so you pay 2 and a green. You get to put 2 counters on it if it doesn't have a counter on it already. +1/+1 counter specifically. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put onto this guy, you may search your library for a card named Growth Chamber Guardian, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So you can adapt for 2, get 2 more of these guys into your hand. This is good. This is definitely good. Being able to bring out a couple guys that first off can get bigger on their own. It's a decent way to spend your turn 3 if you didn't do anything else. You actually get to swing in with a 4/4 and draw 2 cards. So honestly, I think this is a pretty amazing 2-drop for this. And I think that you do play. The issue with this one is that it's not such an amazing card that you're typically wanting to play a full force set of them. A full play set, but I think it is still worthwhile. Just the fact that you get to draw cards and those cards are still legitimate creatures that are putting on counters. It helps with the whole counter synergy in general. If you're doing other things that give them counters like Zagana, then these guys all of a sudden are 4/4s with trample. So I do like it. I think it's really good. We'll see exactly how good it is in standard though. We'll see. All right, and the last card that just barely got spoiled is Zur-Ta Goblin. It's a 2 converted mana cost 2/2, red and a green, and it has Riot. So just a Goblin Berserker 2/2 with Riot. I like it. It's perfect. It's an uncommon card, but I definitely think it'll see play here and there. Like it's either a 2 mana 3/3, which is good. Actually, it's great stats. I think it's really good. And otherwise, it's a hasty 2/2, which is also just really good. Having to be in the Gruul colors can be an issue to where it won't see as much play, but I think Gruul has a legitimate deck right now, and I think that this can see a spot in it, but there's just so many good cards right now, I'm not positive. So, well, that's it for today. I do have some of the other cards that haven't been translated yet. There's like 3 or 4 more that are really cool, but I will wait until I know for sure I'm reading them off correctly. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, let me know in the comments below what things you are most excited for, which card ranks highest in the jank level, because I think there's a lot right now, and which one would you like me to build a deck around most? All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much, and bye-bye. Thank you.